you want me to start with the name and the spelling and all that kind of?
Yes,
yep.
please.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
My name's Greg Yong, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Dreamworld, and it's Greg, and the surname's Yong.
Thank you.
No worries. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to Dreamworld. Beautiful day, as always, here on the Gold Coast. Today, we are literally pulling back the curtain on a brand new story on what's next for Rivertown. So over to Jane and Murray to do the honours. But today we're announcing a brand new attraction called Lost Mine Mayhem. This is a new story, it's new vehicles, it's a whole new adventure. And let's be super clear about this. This is going to happen over where the old Motocoaster ride was. And I want to make it really, really clear that this is not a refresh. This is not like a lick of paint. This is a near $20 million new investment here at Dreamworld. And we think it's going to be a completely reimagined attraction, which is going to be incredible for families. Obviously, it doesn't stand on its own. It takes our investment into new experiences, and many of you I've seen now over a number of years coming to Dreamworld to talk to us about new things. But this is now culminating in near $200 million of new investment here in the Gold Coast, backing Queensland jobs and the local economy right here in the Gold Coast. And if I was in the tourism industry here in the Gold Coast, running a hotel, running ground transportation or anything like that, every time Dreamworld says we've got a new attraction coming, it's a good news story for everyone here in the Gold Coast that's working in tourism. But this is all about stories here at Dreamworld, and so maybe, do you want to hear about the story? Give you a bit about it? So on the fringe of Rivertown, this brand new area which you would have seen a few years ago, deep beneath the valley, a forgotten gold store has just been rediscovered. We've got to be careful though, because there's treasure raiders that are moving in, and we need a crew to help us beat them to the treasure. And that crew is you guys and our guests. So guests will make their way through ancient chambers, hidden passages and immersive theming that Dreamworld is now famous for, before climbing aboard a brand new ATV-style vehicle on a mission to uncover the mine secrets before the raiders do. This ride is built on discovery, exploration and fun, and it's exactly the kind of adventure that families can enjoy together. And that's what we're all about here, is this multi-generational experience, grandma and grandpa being able to get on a ride with their grandkids and everyone in between. Again, Lost Mine Mayhem builds on the momentum of Kenny and Belinda's Dreamland, the Dreamworld Flyer, Rivertown, King Claw. And again, at Dreamworld, this is all about, for us, not just adding a new ride, but a new adventure and a new story. So to wrap up, before we go to questions, this is about a new story for Dreamworld, a brand new family thrill experience right here at Dreamworld, and be opening in late 2027. So with that, we'll turn over these pictures so you can get a feel for what else is happening, and happy to take any questions that you like. So the first picture that Murray's turning around here is what the entrance of the new attraction will look like, just over here. And on this side here, which is what Jane's looking after for us, with no problems at all.
Done it so many times. Yes, Murray, I would love
is an indication of what the new trains will look like. These trains are going to be much more comfortable for our guests and really, really broad, so we'll be able to have little kids right up to grandma and grandpa riding on this ride. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions you like, and over to you guys.
How long is the actual ride?
It's a very similar length to the old one, so it's a couple of minutes long. And again, it's really, the thing that we focus on at Dream was not just the ride length, but the whole time, from the time you enter the ride right through to getting on the ride is an experience as well. So you can expect in this ride a whole new queue experience, and really spending that time in the queue. We won't make that fast, but when you're in there, we want to make it really immersive as well.
The Motocoaster is obviously a favourite that everyone comes to Dreamworld. Is this going to live up to that expectation?
It'll be better than that, yeah, 100%. Yeah, Motocoaster is to your point, is a really famous ride here at Dreamworld. But it had some limitations. The motorbikes were a bit tough. If you were a bigger guest or a smaller guest, it was really hard to get into, and a little bit uncomfortable. And these new attractions or these new trains defeat all of those issues, and they're going to make it much more fun for our guests, and again, really broad. And we're all about making sure anyone can come and experience our rides here at Dreamworld.
What makes this totally different from any other attraction here on the ride?
Look, I think the big piece for us is another generation of immersion. And look, to be honest, Motocoaster as it was kind of suck out a bit. It didn't quite fit the theme. It was kind of like a motorbike ride in the middle of a kids area. Now that we've got this beautiful Rivertown story, this is a great extension of that. And we're really about, as I've carried on about today, is really telling great stories. And Lost Mine Mayhem really extends that Rivertown story through. But again, I think the key thing here is this is the first ATV-style roller coaster train in Australia as well. So it's a really unique ride type. It's not like sitting inside a roller coaster like you do at Jungle Rush. So it's a very different experience. And really thrilling, but also good for a broad range of people.
Can you just explain that? Sorry, the ATV style. What is that? And if you can explain
Well, the older trains were a motorbike, and so you had to sit inside the motorbike. As you can see from the picture, this is like sitting on, an all-terrain vehicle where we're going out in this adventure to go and, search for this treasure and defeat these raiders. And so, as opposed to sitting inside a roller coaster, you're sitting on top of it. And so it's a really freeing experience. The restraint or the harness that's on it is all around your lap, so you haven't got this thing over the top of your head, which makes it much more exciting. You can move around a bit more, better vision, and just a much more comfortable ride for everyone involved.
Do you know how many seats there will be?
20 seats, 2 trains, and again, because it's a simpler design, we'll be able to load this ride really quickly, and so we're all about here making sure you have a fun experience. And we know that one of the hardest things about theme parks is, waiting in line. And so the faster we can make these things go in a safe manner, the better off it is in terms of making the line shorter. And so this whole train design has been thought about in that way, so we can get faster dispatches, less time in the line waiting. But while you are waiting, we've got a few surprises in the queue, which we'll talk about in the next few months.
How fast can it go?
It's super fast. Yeah, this is actually, look, it's not about the speed. It's all about the experiences we'll do out in the outfield of the track. And so, again, we're over a year away from this, and we're going to release some more information in the next little while. But what we're going to do out on the roller coaster track itself is put more experiences and more near misses and more fun things to see whilst you're out in the ride to make it feel faster and more exhilarating throughout the entire ride.
Has this ride been inspired by any others around the world?
Look, we're always looking at the latest and greatest things around the world. We certainly have seen this train in a number of different parks, and it ticked all the boxes that we look for. So we're not big on prototypical rides here at Dreamworld. We want to know that things have been tried and tested, and this is exactly that. So this is something that's been around a little while. We spend a lot of time talking to the parks that operate it, and we feel really comfortable after those conversations to be introducing it here at Dreamworld.
Sounds like it'll be very, you guys are leading to a kind of immersive experience. Can you tell us what will guests be able to kind of see around it as you go?
Well, it's all about the story. And so from the time you enter the ride, all the way through the queue until you get on the ATV itself, and even through the exit, you will hear bits of that story and see bits of that story the whole way through. And I think, CEOs of theme parks will get up and tell you it's immersive and it's all those things, but I think you've got to look at our track record now. If you come to Rivertown and go on Jungle Rush, you come to King Claw and look what we've done there, you can see that that's what we're all about, is telling those stories, and you'll see that here as well. And we're really into the fine details, and so you'll see bits of the story all the way through. Theme parks have different guests, and so some guests will want to go and look at every part of the attraction and look at every sign and every bit of the story. Some people are walking and go, that's really cool, let me get on the ride. And we want to try to cater to both of those guests. So you'll see from the start to the end and all the way through a real care and attention to the story. Everything that we do in our design comes back to the story and making sure that, does that make sense? Why would that be part of that story, and why would that be there? And so we've really thought really deeply about that. And we continue to do that on every new attraction that we do.
You mentioned it was an extension of Rivertown. Yeah. Would it be recommended that they guests go through here first, then onto that?
You can do it. Choose your own adventure. It'll make sense to either way, and so you don't have to do these rides first. You can do that one. It's not like Star Wars where you kind of go, which movie is this and how does that work? This is one that you can jump on either ride and have a great experience.
And always with as well.
Yep, it's a very, very broad. So little kids, so it's just over 100 centimetre height. Right up to grandparents as well. So it's thrilling, but it's certainly what we would say a doable ride. Some of the other rides we've got here, Giant Drop, King Claw, they're a little bit more challenging. This is not that. This is a ride that's going to cater to everyone. But the things that we're going to do out on the roller coaster track itself will make it much more thrilling than what Motocoaster was as well.
Just looking at that as well, it looks quite free moving, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about the harness.
Yeah, it's called a waist restraint. So the harness is all around your waist. It's designed obviously for safety, and so it's all about making sure it's super, super safe. But we want to give you that freedom in the ride experience. You've probably been on older rides around the world where you've got the harness over the top of your shoulders, and you get that whole head-banging experience. That's not something that we want you to have here on our new attractions at Dreamworld. So this attraction restraint has been designed for just that. It is super safe, but it's certainly been designed for comfort as well. And it gives you a chance to really look around as you're out in the attraction as well.
How long is the design process?
We talk about these things for years before they open. We've been working on this one now for over a year before this announcement, and again we've got a year and a bit to go before it actually opens, and so we've got some time still to run. But we're already thinking today about what we're doing after this one. So we're already talking about the big new attractions that we're looking at for Dreamworld in a few years' time. That's already on our minds, and so we're constantly looking out and about for different ideas, looking around the world at the best and the greatest new things. And I can tell you that we're thinking about this today, but we're also thinking about 3 years from now as we speak.
Can you tell us what you're thinking about in 3 years' time?
I can tell you that it's going to be great. Our approach to new attractions at Dreamworld, as you can see now, is all about really significant investments that are as much about the story as it is about the ride. And so we're not about just whacking a new ride in and that's all we're doing. We're about putting in a whole land to join that all up. And so the next thing we're doing after this, it's on our minds now, and I can tell you that we're as excited about that as we are about this one today. So we're trying to do two things at once, walk and chew gum. But today it's all about this one and more to come.
At the end of Rivertown, do you think this is the last kind of component of it?
No, we've designed Rivertown to be able to do things for a long time, and so you'd remember we used to do rides. We used to have a fantastic water ride out here on the river. We've designed this so that one day if we decided to do that again, we could absolutely do that. But we're constantly assessing what's the next best thing for us, and at the moment this one is. The next thing we've got is not in Rivertown, it's a whole new land, and we're terribly excited about that one as well.
Obviously the Dreamworld Expansion is in the works as well. How do rides like this contribute to that overall tourism as well?
Well, as I said earlier, if I was running a small business on the Gold Coast relying on tourism, every time Dreamworld has a media call talking about new investment, that's a great story for the Gold Coast and a great story for other businesses. If Dreamworld's going well, so many businesses on the Gold Coast go well. The airport goes well, aviation comes into the Gold Coast just to ride these rides. If you're an accommodation provider, you're going to do well out of this, ground transportation. And you'd be amazed about how many small businesses we support. The buns that we use in our burgers come from local bakeries. The people that we use to build this ride, a lot of them will be local Southeast Queensland builders. The ride itself is from a company in Europe, but most of the installation, most of the thematic work is all done by local trades. And so we really feel very strongly about supporting Southeast Queensland and all the things that we do. And again, when Dreamworld goes well, I think the whole Gold Coast and Southeast Queensland more broadly goes well as well.
Will those components be coming from Europe?
The ride components, so brand new control system, brand new trains, all of that is coming from Europe.
Thank you. There's been some concerns that the expansion is being
Look, I've got a few things. Traffic for mine, I don't know what it was like this morning, but traffic's bad today. And so in my mind, precluding new developments because of traffic problems today, I think is really myopic. And I think people that are in the media talking about traffic should be fixing the traffic problem today. Stopping development is not going to fix the traffic problem that we have today. In fact, in my mind, we should be focused on trying to make this a much better place for everyone involved. Dreamworld has committed as part of our new development to investing over $5 million to enhance the incremental traffic that we bring. It's not going to fix the traffic we have today. And there's so many developments that have happened over the last few years. If you look at Costco, if you look at the McDonald's, the Taco Bell, the KFC, all of these things have happened with no investment in the roads. Our view is we want to invest in the roads, we want to help it make it better, but there's more to be done. And I think that people that are in the media talking about development and roads really should be thinking about what the problem is today. Because I can tell you, as you would have seen this morning, it's not good today. And it's not going to get better unless we as a collective invest in this road network. We're super passionate about it. It's not a good experience, coming here on a weekday when school's on. And so, I think the more focused we can be about not pot shots in media, but more about kind of getting together and trying to invest together, the better off we'll go. On the koalas, look, let me tell you that Dreamworld is super passionate about conservation. We've got the Dreamworld Wildlife Foundation. We have committed millions of dollars to conservation, not only in koalas, but tigers and other native animals in Australia. And I think what's in the media today around the koala situation is not completely true. And maybe I can just give you a simple example of that. This island that you see behind you, Murrissippi Island, is a man-made island. So Tony Longhurst, 40 years ago, got in a bulldozer, dug the river out, threw the spoil in the middle, and here we have this island. That island has not got any koalas on it. Koalas are not great swimmers. But that island is mapped today, or was mapped previously, as koala habitat. We have no intention to go and knock trees down here and remove them. In fact, that's the best thing about this land. But if we want to do anything out there, if we want to put beautiful new, tree house cabins or anything like that on there, we're precluded from doing that under the old development scheme. The idea is to be able to have unreasonable mapping removed so we can go and do things on our land that make sense whilst protecting the environment as well. And the other key thing I'd say is that there's a whole precinct here at Dreamworld, Precinct 2 on our development plan. It's over 11 hectares. That whole precinct is dedicated, and Dreamworld is committing to rejuvenating that and protecting that for years to come. So I understand the concern. I can tell you that on our minds here at Dreamworld, it is the number one focus for us, is making sure we do the right thing, but also in a pragmatic way. And I think that example I give you today is a really clear example of what we're really about in that regard.
In terms of details on the board in regards to that expansion, when do you anticipate we'll be able to see some more plans?
Look, we're working really hard at it right now. We're terribly excited about it, but to be frank with you, until we got the approval, we just weren't in a position to be able to go and spend significant money on the next stage of design. And so we wanted to get the approval first. The next stage now is doing the detailed design work to get to where we would like to be. All I can say to you is we are just terribly excited about what we can do here for the Northern Gold Coast. If you live in the Northern Gold Coast and are looking for a part-time job, working in our hotel would be a tremendous experience. If you're living in Southeast Queensland, the amenity that we'll bring in our new development here will be incredible. You'll be able to go to some great restaurants, great retail experiences, great entertainment experiences you just can't do today. So we're super excited about it. We're in a hurry to get it done. The Olympics are coming, and we can't move them, I've checked. And so what we're all about now is trying to do everything we can to get there as quickly as we can, but in a methodical way. And so we're doing all the right things in terms of due diligence. We're doing all the right things in terms of planning. And I can assure you that as soon as our plans are in good shape, we'll be able to share them with everyone involved.
There have been Koala conservation groups that say this expansion is the end for the local population. Do you completely agree with that?
We just don't agree with it. It's okay for everyone to have a perspective on that, but I think if you look at the approval, you look at the details involved. If you simply look at the offsets that Dreamworld provide for the very small, less than 3% of the area that would be cleared, I mean, Dreamworld's providing significant offsets in terms of financial and land offsets to handle that. So this is an area where, again, you've got to look at our track record. Dreamworld Wildlife Foundation, millions of dollars into conservation. We're about making sure that the environment is well protected, but we're also about making sure that we bring balanced investment into the Northern Gold Coast as well. And so I think what we've planned to do here, working with the government, and working with their agencies in the Environment Department, gets us to a really good place where, again, it's a minimal change. And the areas that we've got that have changed in terms of the mapping, like this island, we have no intention to be knocking trees down and changing that at all.
Back to the story, when will we start to see construction begin?
Imminently, yeah. So you'll see changes here on the site in the next few months. Yep. Any questions from this end? No?
How many launches on the track?
One fantastic launch right at the very start. Yep.
We just might grab Jimmy and Belinda.
Cool. All right. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
So much.